Welcome back. This is Donnie Alvarenga. I am coming to you live for Mission Possible Monday. I had just kicked us off and I think I was in the wrong place because I couldn't find myself. And so I just decided to start over. So if you were waiting for us to come live, I apologize for the little technological glitch. But today is the 5th of July. It is the day after the 4th of July, the weekend that we celebrate freedom. And I am curious to find out, what is it that you did to celebrate your freedom this past weekend? I heard from so many people. I actually made a post and asked, what do you plan to do this weekend? There was a lot of laying around and resting and beach and pool. And I'm just curious to find out, what is it that you did this past weekend with all the freedom you had this past weekend? Now, first of all, if you are joining us live, I'd love for you to type live down below. And if you are catching the replay, go ahead and type replay. Now, I'm curious to find out from you, what does freedom mean to you? I actually Googled it, and so it must be true. It came up on Google. The definition of freedom is the power or right to act, speak, or think as one wants without hindrance or restraint. So it's basically the liberty to act, think, and do whatever you want without any limitation, right? And I think that here, especially in the United States, there's a little bit of a romanticization of the concept of freedom, because we spent the time at the beach or the pool, and we just think, wow, I just did whatever I wanted. Okay. But I don't think that we oftentimes remember that freedom is not free and it's not easy. One of the things that we did yesterday with the girls is we introduced them to the movie National Treasure. And just full disclosure, there will be a little bit of a spoiler alert. Okay. So in the movie uh, National Treasure, Nicolas Cage is on a mission to steal the Declaration of Independence. Obviously, he has some noble reason for it, but he's on a mission to steal it. And as I said, full disclosure or spoiler alert here. Okay. He has notified the FBI and he's notified the National Archives that somebody is planning to steal the Declaration of Independence, and nobody believes him. And so he's decided he's going to go ahead and steal it. Well, he's at this gala on 4th of July with these officials from the National Archives, and he proposes a toast. He's like, a toast to high treason. And they're like, what? And he's like, well, if you stop and think about it, we're celebrating the Declaration of Independence, and the men that signed that document, they were committing high treason. And had the United States not won the Revolutionary War, those men would have been, and he goes on to describe all the gory details of how they would have been dismembered and tortured and killed ultimately for high treason. And here we are, however many years later, 1776, do the math. I can't remember what our birthday was yesterday, but bottom line is that here we are these many years later celebrating that high price that these men paid. Okay. And actually, I read recently, and I did not fact check these, so please correct me if I'm wrong, but what I have read is that of those that signed the Declaration of Independence, 5 of them were captured by the British as traitors, and they were tortured before they died, and 12 had their homes ransacked and burned. Now, aren't you glad that you joined us for Mission Possible Monday today to hear about all of these atrocities? Now, the reason that I want to bring this up is, once again, we celebrate the freedom and we celebrate doing things without restraint and without limitation. But it's important to understand that there was a price to that. And I think that once we appreciate the value of that freedom, when we appreciate the price that was paid, we can appreciate the value. Okay. And today, as I was connecting with some of my clients and coaches, I asked the question, what is a freedom that you are celebrating thanks to having chosen health? Okay. And the first response I thought was such a good one. And it was definitely not what I expected. But the first response I got was the freedom to not care if I fit in. And I was like, how is that, number one, a freedom? And number two, how is that related to your physical health? Now, I have been a coach now for the past 10 years. I have been on my own health journey for the past 44 years. And so I have had, I believe, extensive experience with the concept of behavior change and trying to get healthy, losing weight, any of those habit retraining. Okay. And what I have noticed in my experience is that one of the biggest challenges, one of the biggest limitations, if you will, to people making um, solid and lasting health transformations is social situations, essentially peer pressure. Peer pressure is a limiting factor. The whole idea of food shaming is legit real. Type a one into the chat if you have ever been food shamed, which simply means that if you decide you're going to be make healthy choices at a birthday party, at a holiday, at a celebration, people look at you sideways like you think you're too good for us. I have personally experienced that. I have even experienced that in terms of the holidays when I post healthy tips. I've had people say, "Hey Donnie, don't suck the fun out of it," right? This is food shaming. And it is a legit real thing. And it with this food shaming, it is a logical thing, or it happens a lot, that people, they retreat into what feels like I fit in. Okay. And fitting in becomes the limiting factor. I have experienced that myself. Like I said, I shrunk back when I got called out for taking the fun out of the holidays by talking about being healthy. I've been to birthday parties where people say, "I can't believe you're not going to celebrate with us." I'm at the party. I actually hosted a party at my house once, and I was accused of not celebrating because I refused to eat the cake. Okay. Now, why did I refuse to eat the cake? Did it have anything to do with anybody but me? No. It was just me making a commitment to my own health journey and to my own goals. Okay. And so, if we're going to talk about freedom, let's talk about the freedom to not have to fit in to what we believe is normal. Now, if you happen to be of the human race, then welcome to the idea that peer pressure is alive and well, and that people do what people do. And it is a natural tendency that we have to do what people do and to do what we perceive to be normal. Now, what we perceive to be normal is normally what people are doing, whether that serves us or not, whether you're in high school or not. This is the reality of what we face. And so what is normal right now? If we're talking about what's normal, in that most people are doing it, over 70% of Americans are either overweight or obese. Over 40% of Americans are not getting the recommended amount of exercise every week. So that's what's perceived to be normal. Okay. 1 in 5 breakfasts is bought at McDonald's. This is what's considered to be normal. Does this serve you? Does this lead to the life and the health that you want? Okay. But it's perceived to be normal. And so, what we want to talk about today is, what are some of the tips that you can practically apply so that you can break free from the limitations that come from needing to fit in, which is a very normal, natural human tendency. Okay. So, the first thing is to accept that freedom is not free. And if you want the freedom to do what you want with your health, to be what you want with your life, to experience the things that you want to experience, to be able to wear the size pants you want to wear, to be able to hike as far as you want to hike, to be able to enjoy a day at Disney with your family, okay? The entire day without the limitations of shortness of breath or aching joints or not fitting in the rides, okay? If you want to experience all of those freedoms, it's going to require an understanding that freedom is not free, and that you might never really feel like making the choices that line up with those goals. Okay. I'm pretty confident that the men that signed the Declaration of Independence, they didn't feel like having their farms burned to the ground. They didn't want to get tortured or killed. Okay. But they saw that what they were fighting for was worth it. And they were willing to embrace the suck for that. And you and I got to celebrate that just this weekend. Okay. And so the first tip that I have to offer you is to understand that freedom is not free, but that it is absolutely worth it. Okay. It's absolutely worth it. The second tip is to decide what is most important to you. What is more important to you? Is it fitting in with others? Is it what other people think? Or is it your freedom to do what you want, to wear what you want, right? Is it your freedom to have the health that you want? The freedom to maybe not have to take as many medications, right? Which of these is most important to you? And it's interesting, there's that quote that says that you can't pay your bills with other people's opinions. And the truth is that you can't maintain your health with other people's opinions either. And so it's important for you to gain clarity on what is most important to you. Is it what other people think, or is it the health and life that you want to build? The next practical step that I encourage you to take is to take inventory of your tribe. Take a hard, real look at the people that you spend the most time with. Are they healthier than you, or are they not as healthy as you? Okay, because there's a very good chance, well, you become like the people you spend the most time with, right? And if you spend time with people that are living in a certain way, then there's a very good chance you're going to live that way too. And there has been research and studies that show that. And so, one way to not have to deal with the whole idea of standing out or sticking out or not fitting in is to surround yourself with people that are making health a priority. And I invite you, personal invitation for you to join our online community. We have a community of people that are making health a priority and that are celebrating the freedoms that they have been able to um, conquer, if you will, because they chose health. And we would absolutely love to have you as part of our community. And so if you'd like to join, go ahead and type down below tribe, that you would like to be a part of our tribe. Now, the fourth tip is just that, to choose your tribe. Okay. Your vibe attracts your tribe, but your tribe determines your vibe. And remember that the people that truly, truly love you, they want you to be the best version of you that you can be. And so teach them how to love you by letting them know what's important to you and how it is that they can support you in that goal to make health a priority. My daughter, I've shared this before. A couple days before Thanksgiving, about 2 years ago, she announced she would not be eating sugar anymore. And for about 2.5 years, she has not slipped once. She made the commitment. She drew the line in the sand. She decided, and she stuck to it. And I could not be more proud of her for that. I can not be more inspired by her for that. And so the question is, what is the line that you want to draw in the sand? Because the truth is that for you to be successful in anything in life, it's important that you be willing to stand out. And that means that sometimes you might not fit in. Okay. And that's okay. You don't need to apologize for it. You don't need to shy away from it. You just need to stand firm, because this is your life. You're the one that has to live in your body. Okay. Every single day. Nobody's going to be around in the middle of the night when you wake up with heartburn. Okay. Nobody's going to wake up in the middle of the day or be around in the middle of the day when your joints hurt. You have to live in your body. So therefore, respect it. Respect it and own it despite what everybody else is doing. But as I mentioned, the 4 tips: number one, understand that freedom is not free and that nobody's going to come and do this for you. You're going to have to make the hard choices, okay? But that it is absolutely worth it. Number 2, decide what's more important to you: what other people think, or the health that you're building. Number 3, take inventory of your tribe. And number 4, choose your tribe wisely. So with that, I just want to say goodbye and have a good week.